In a world where obesity rates are skyrocketing, Japan stands out as a remarkable exception. With one of the lowest percentages of obesity and overweight individuals on the planet, the Japanese culture has mastered the art of staying lean and healthy. And as a fitness coach, I have studied their habits and uncovered 5 core reasons behind their health success. These aren't any magic tricks by any means. They're just simple lifestyle choices that anyone can adopt to transform their health journey right away. So let's dive into the secrets of Japan's health success and learn how you can apply these principles to reach your fitness goals. So the first point that I've gathered is portion control. In Japan, smaller portions are the norm. Whether at home or in restaurants, meals are typically served in modest sizes, encouraging slower and more mindful eating. Japanese culture doesn't promote overeating, and it's super rare to find supersized portions. When you think of America, Canada, North America, any Western world for that matter, they encourage you to supersize their meals, right? And almost incentivizes you to do so, right? Because I'm thinking back to McDonald's when I used to go there. It's like, if you want to supersize your meal, it's only like a fraction of the cost to get like double the portion, right? So it's like, it sounds like a no-brainer to like supersize your portion, right? Which is why we tend to eat a lot more calories in the Western world than in the Japanese culture, for example, right? And this specific practice naturally leads, again, the not supersizing your meals, eating regular portion sizes, naturally leads to consuming fewer calories, making weight management a whole lot easier without feeling deprived. Again, contrasting that to the Western portions, plates are designed to satisfy and not overwhelm you. There's a Japanese saying called hara hachi bu. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of that before. Hopefully I did not butcher that. Sorry if I did. Which basically states the art of practicing until you're 80% full, reducing the chances of obviously you overeating, right? And so smaller controlled portions make a huge difference in managing weight. And I'm not just saying this whole supersize thing is super apparent in restaurants. Even if you go on YouTube right now, it is so just like socially accepted to watch other people do like food eating challenges. And what's so kind of like, I won't say sad about this, but like a lot of these people who make these food challenges, right? It's like they get all these views, which kind of also incentivizes them and encourage them to create more of those types of videos, because we have this weird thing where we also enjoy watching other people just eat a crap ton of food, which saying that out loud sounds a bit weird. And I want to be honest, I used to be one of those people where I would literally, it sounds so weird, but I would watch someone eat foods, typically a large amount of food, as I was eating my own food. I think there's a word for this. I think it's called mukbang or something, but just saying that aloud sounds really, really weird. And I believe in Japan, it's almost like frowned upon to kind of do something like that, which makes a whole lot of sense. And I just believe that their relationship with food and the relationship with watching other people eat food is a lot healthier than it is in the Western world. The second point that I have is they eat mainly fresh and real food. The Japanese diets focus on fresh, whole foods, whereas processed snacks, fast foods, and sugary treats take a backseat to nutrient-dense staples like rice, fish, vegetables, and seaweeds. The emphasis is on balance with meals rich in protein, fiber, and healthy fats. I want to challenge you guys and say if you can strictly only focus on whole, natural, single ingredient foods, which the Barbarian diet also encourages, you'd be surprised how much easier it is to not just lose your body weight, but then also simply just maintaining your body weight as well. Because by focusing on these whole foods, you'll start to notice that because they're so low in calories and so high in volume, right? Think of your fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean sources of protein, that it's going to be pretty difficult to overeat on those foods, right? Especially with these Japanese foods, like I mentioned, right? The seaweeds, the rice, the fish, the vegetables. It's like, try to get fat eating those foods. I mean, you're going to have a really difficult time. Even if you're someone like myself who has a huge appetite, it's like I still have a hard time. Like if you tell me like, hey, Conan, try to gain weight, try to gain fat eating either the Japanese diet or the Barbarian diet, like, and you guys have hopefully seen some of the foods that I eat. It's like I eat massive portion sizes, right? Because I have a huge appetite. But like even if I did try to gain weight, that's going to be really difficult for me, right? So in Japan, staples like sushi and miso soup are both light and also packed with nutrients. The avoidance of refined sugars and excess fats leads to leaner bodies just naturally, not through restricting their calories or by calorie counting, just by choosing better food choices, right? And I think this is also really awesome for a lot of you guys to try out, where if you don't like tracking your food, which I know a lot of people don't, we work with a lot of busy professionals in our one-on-one coaching program where they simply don't have the time to bring a food skill with them to work or open up the MyFitnessPal app to track their foods. And a great kind of solution to that is by simply just focusing on, again, these healthier foods where you can almost just like eat intuitively and your body's naturally just going to like stop wanting to eat once you kind of hit that certain threshold. And especially if you use this principle, Hara Hachibu, where you eat until 80% fullness. If you combine that with eating whole, natural, single ingredient foods, I mean, your weight's just going to melt away, 100% guaranteed. And so, like I said, if you focus on real food, you can nourish your body without the excess calories and harmful ingredients as well. The third point here, and this one's actually really underrated, is they walk everywhere. In Japan, walking isn't just a form of exercise, it is literally a way of life. Daily commutes often involve walking to public transportation, climbing stairs, and exploring cities on foot. This lifestyle keeps people naturally active without needing to schedule formal workout sessions. Think back of like the olden days, right, where like when we were like hunting for animals and for meats, right? Like people back then, if you look on pictures, right, they were jacked. I mean, if anything, they were just like super lean. They had six-pack abs, right? But they weren't scheduling workouts at the gym. They weren't doing cardio on the treadmill because, I mean, gyms didn't even exist back then. Cardio machines didn't even exist back then because back then, like they were just naturally lean because they just naturally lived an active lifestyle. They were hunting. They were just walking around, they were running, they were just doing all these things, right? Whereas now in the modern society, in the modern world, it's like we've literally had to invent a room to pick heavy objects and put them back down again. Just simply because our current lifestyles are so sedentary, including mine. Like, I'll be honest, like my current lifestyle is super sedentary. I work remotely, I work on my laptop all the time, and that is a really sedentary lifestyle, right? So I am going to have to take advantage of the gyms, for example, right? The weightlifting rooms, the cardio machines, the treadmills, right? Because our life, whether you like it or not, is designed to just make us be sitting down all day and just super inactive, which it is what it is, right? But yeah, the Japanese culture encourages people to constantly walk around, and their NEAT, which stands for their non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is also extremely high. This basically involves any small little movements that you do throughout the day, whether it's, again, walking around, even doing small little things like taking the stairs instead of the elevator, parking a bit further away from work, me moving my hands right now, me talking right now. This also indirectly kind of burns calories, but you'll notice that the NEAT of most Western people, especially Americans, compared to the Japanese people, if you put them both in the same room, you're going to notice that the Japanese people are just going to naturally be a bit more active compared to, let's say, again, I don't want to stereotype here, but Western people, Americans, Canadians, whatever, you'll notice that they're going to be just like a lot more just sedentary, right? And so walking is their primary mode of transportation, which helps maintain a healthy weight, right? By simply moving a lot more throughout the day, you can actually burn a lot more calories and keep your metabolism nice and active, right? And so a little takeaway that you guys can take from this is that, well, okay, in my current lifestyle right now, right? Again, I also have to think about this, but how can I make my current lifestyle, which is super sedentary, I assume most people have like a desk job who are watching this, how can I actually turn my current lifestyle and maybe make some small little lifestyle changes to encourage me to maybe be a bit more active throughout the day in order for me to burn a bit more calories throughout the day, right? I mentioned a couple things, right? By maybe taking a stairs instead of the elevator, parking a bit further away from work, or maybe like when you do your grocery shop, like really walking up and down the aisle or something, or maybe instead of like ordering your groceries, maybe actually like going into the grocery store and actually like walking around the park. Again, all these small little things, because again, what I just said there, it's like we are encouraged. I just said ordering your groceries online. This wasn't even a thing 20 years ago, right? Whereas now everything is just like a couple buttons away on our phone, and it's like we don't even have to lift a finger, basically, right? And so how can we almost like encourage ourselves to be a bit more active like the Japanese people? So something to think about there. The fourth thing here kind of goes back to the second point, but mindful eating. Meals are treated as sacred moments, often eaten slowly, with attention and appreciation for the food. I want you to ask yourself this question. When was the last time you actually sat down on a dinner table and just focused on the meal that was at hand, right? Because I also do this. I typically like to either listen to a podcast when I eat, or I like to watch a YouTube video when I eat, or I like to distract myself with something when I eat, whereas I cannot really remember the last time that I personally sat down on a dinner table with complete silence and just focused on the meal at hand. But this is something that the Japanese people do really, really well, which also encourage them to, be a bit more present, be a bit more mindful of their food, actually pay attention to chewing their food, and then also really realizing when they are 80% full, so they can keep practicing their hara, hachi, bu practice, right? So this is something that I myself could really, really focus on a lot more, because this mindfulness encourages better digestion, slower eating, and a stronger connection between hunger and satiety cues. Meals in there are about quality and not just consumption, right? Because I know a lot of people as well who wake up super late in the morning, and then they're rushing out the house and they grab a quick little bagel, or they go to Starbucks and they grab a quick little sandwich and they just eat on the go. And it's like they're just like so not mindful of what they're consuming into their body, right? Or how often have you just like mindlessly snacked on some food without even realizing what you're actually eating, right? So small little things like that can make a huge difference. And so eating slower, again, also leads to better control over portion sizes and caloric intake. Now, by practicing this mindful way of eating, you can regain control over how much you eat, making it easier to stay in shape. And the last thing here, which I think is a massive one, and that is their cultural pride. Japanese society takes pride in maintaining a lean and healthy physique. I want to say that one more time. They take pride in maintaining a lean and healthy physique. Do you think the North Americans, the Western culture takes pride in that? I think we do the opposite, where we almost like encourage other people to eat more food, eat more fast food, supersize our meals, right? Whereas there's this cultural expectation in Japan to stay fit, and health is deeply woven into social norms, which just sounds crazy, right? Obesity isn't just a health problem. It's seen as not taking care of yourself, which, I mean, a lot of people know this, right? But it's less socially accepted there, which encourages them to be more mindful of their health choices. Health is seen as a form of self-respect, and not just that, but then also respect for others. This collective mindset reinforces healthy eating and active living, right? Whereas I think we almost do the opposite here, where we have this collective mindset which reinforces others to eat more foods, right? Eat more burgers, eat more fries, eat more hot dogs. And I'm kind of thinking about this in terms of like my own experience. And it's really sad because when I was a kid growing up, I'm not sure if you guys know this about me, but I was a really fat kid growing up. But it wasn't a thing where like I got encouraged to keep eating. Like people encouraged me to keep on eating more food. And then as soon as I kind of like took a step back and say, you know what, like I don't want to live this unhealthy lifestyle anymore, it was really difficult for me to make that change, right? Because all of my friends, even some of my family members, they were like, oh, well, you're trying to eat healthy now? Oh, come on, one slice doesn't hurt, right? It's like I currently have my grandparents in town, and it's quite funny because they see me eating so healthy now, and like they're so used to just like not eating so healthy. And then they really like analyze my food, and they're like, why are you eating so healthy? Like, come on, just have a piece of pie, just have a piece of cake. And it's like, well, no, right? And it's like they encourage me to do that, right? And it's not just my grandparents, it's again my friends in the past, right? And we just all encourage one another to just eat more food, eat more food, eat more food. Whereas in Japan, they literally do the exact opposite, right? And so I really think that surrounding yourself with a supportive community can make a huge difference to help you stay motivated and accountable for your health, right? The Japanese people value health so much that they teach healthy eating also early on in school, and even have laws set in place to penalize corporations for having overweight workers. How crazy does that sound? They do not do that in Western cultures, in Western countries, right? And if we were to do this, there'd be a huge, there'd be some massive problems, right? Because again, this I will be honest, this does sound pretty extreme, but it's yeah, they go to that extent to really make sure that people don't go through obesity there, right? So while most people would always use the excuse that genetics play a big role, which to some degree it does, in terms of being skinny, a lot of people fail to understand that behavior and environment are one of the biggest triggers to weight gain and or loss, right? Because if I were to put myself, or even if I were to put you in Japan, I think naturally just being in that environment, you're going to lose a whole lot of weight just by being there, right? Which is why I'm such a big fan of priming your environment to make the healthy choice the easy choice, which is what we encourage in our program as well. Now imagine adopting these 5 principles into your own life, right? Eating smaller portion sizes, fueling your body with fresh, whole, natural, single ingredient foods, walking more, eating mindfully, and having the pride in yourself to make healthy choices daily. These lifestyle habits are not just exclusive to Japan, they can be yours too. And now if you're ready to embrace these powerful lessons and truly transform your health, I invite you to join our one-on-one premium coaching program. We will guide you step by step in incorporating these principles into your daily routine with ease. So let's create a healthier, fitter version of you together. You can go ahead and schedule a free consultation call with me today, and we can get you started on your fitness journey right away. So that is all that I have for you guys in today's video. If you do have any questions for me, please let me know, and I'll see you all soon. Peace.